just start. Just do it. What are you waiting for? The perfect opportunity, the stars to align, for you to feel comfortable? You know, I've been giving it some thought, and often a lot of people, when they talk about their aspirations, their hobbies, their goals in life, what they would like their purpose to be, whatever the case is, often I notice a lot of people will talk about it, but never actually go and do it, you know? And, you know, that's totally fine. Sometimes you may look into stuff and think that it won't work out or whatever the case is. But I feel like for most people, what are they afraid of? Most of the times, people just do not take the first step. Taking the first step is truly vital to a lot of things in life. And often when people talk about these goals and hobbies, they never take that first step for whatever reason. For example, a common reason people may feel anxious about taking that first step is because they don't feel ready. Now, that's very natural, and that's not to invalidate anyone's feelings, but since it is taking the first step and obviously probably going to be something new, it is naturally always going to feel uncomfortable. Comfort is something that a lot of people do enjoy and do like, which is understandable. I like comfort and routine in my life too, but being uncomfortable is also great in certain situations because it puts you in something new and forces you to develop new skills and requires you to think out the box sometimes. Just being uncomfortable can scare a lot of people, which is very fair. But I can guarantee that most of the times after you take that first step, what do you often realize? It's not as bad as you imagine. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to all scenarios. Your scenario could potentially be an outlier, but I believe that for the average person, always taking that first step is the hardest and often the best steps, because that's where you can see and get an idea of how you truly feel for whatever new thing you're doing, right? So, with that being said, for example, you'll notice that this is the very first video that I created on this channel, and this channel will be something where I try to just discuss about various life topic things that I have just seen come up in my life, and you know, maybe potentially just shout into the void, and hopefully if you want to take my advice, that'd be great. But often I wanted to start with this video and specifically this topic because, once again, what am I doing? I'm taking the very first step, aka creating my first video. Now, obviously, I don't feel like this video is going to be perfect, far from perfect. And you'll notice that in the background by now that I am cooking something. Cooking is something that I have warmed my heart up to a lot and have become very interested in. And just like with anyone starting a new skill, I may not do certain things properly, I may mess up, or I may make mistakes, or I might not do things as good as someone who's been very much more familiar with it. And that's okay. Yes, certain parts of the cooking may be uncomfortable to me, but that's mainly why, because I'm just not familiar with it. So this video is sort of like a testament to me taking that first step, me posting this first video, me cooking a meal. Now, granted, this meal I have cooked for a couple times, but regardless, you guys in the future videos, you're gonna see me try to cook brand new recipes that I never cooked before, and you will see me make mistakes. But the hardest step, as I said, is the first step. If I had just taken the time to think about, oh, what is the perfect lighting? What is the perfect meal to make? Or what is the perfect topic? This video may have never ever been gotten made if I kept thinking like that. Now, granted, I'm not saying rush in there without a plan, but always try to, if you're planning and you find yourself always getting anxious about the first step, most of the times it's just taking that leap. Think about many times where you have been anxious about a situation and you just went and you just did it and it wasn't as bad as you thought. So maybe the next time you're thinking about, you know, starting a different conversation with someone, maybe you too may be thinking about a new cooking recipe, trying out a new sport, or trying out any hobby, doing something new. Just please always remember to do not be afraid of the first step that you have to take. It can often, most of the time, be the most uncomfortable one. But I always believe, and I've experienced, that after that very first step, things haven't been as bad as I always thought they were when it came to prior to taking that first step. And usually, I believe a lot of people always thank themselves because at the end of the day, what did you do? At least you can hold your head up high and say, hey, at least I tried. Now with that, one thing I do want to preface, which another reason I feel like people get caught up in, taking the first step, is not necessarily fear, but it can also be because they just strive for perfection, which is totally fine. I think all of us strive for some form of perfection, but as many of you have probably heard on YouTube or with anything you're starting new, perfection is probably one of the most least likely things you are going to achieve. Over time, once you do a certain action, a certain hobby over and over and over and over, you improve on your skills, see where you're lacking, see what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you analyze that. That is when perfection will truly come. And if we're really gonna talk about perfection, I'm not gonna go into this rabbit hole, but I'll just say this. Perfection to me is impossible, but also at the same time, if perfection was truly achievable, then I feel like things would be very boring afterwards. And that's a whole video topic for another day, so I'm not gonna go into that. But ideally, I always see perfection as more of like a moving target, something that we'll constantly be chasing after and try to get as close as possible to it. And remember, as I said earlier, repetition, the constant you doing the same routine, small actions, all that stuff will build up and compound into something that you may be proud of one day. So whatever your goals may be, whether that be, once again, you going to the gym, eating more healthy, studying more, working on your relationships, your friendships, whatever the case may be, just please put yourself out there, because that is arguably the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And even though if it doesn't work out in the end, that failure at the end of the day, learn from it, understand it. Do not fear it. Do not just throw it in the back of your mind. Do not avoid it. Always embrace failure and see what could you improve on the next time. Essentially, your failure becomes data for you to do better in the future. And let's say you do take this first step and you didn't fail, but you're not necessarily at somewhere where you would like to be. Remember, progression for everyone is not the same. Some person may excel in something a year, another person it could take 5 years. Some people it could take a week. Some people are just really good at their first time. Everyone is completely different, and all the skills that we also encounter are extremely different. So because of that, that's why I believe that you should take your progress as is, and obviously, once again, continue to improve after taking that first step. And once you do that, things should start to get better. But just remember, there's nothing wrong with being a beginner at things. Everything takes time. But once again, where I believe a lot of people fail is that they don't even start. That's where the failure is. They just don't even start at all. They talk about it, they ponder, they wonder. Some may even plan it out a lot, but they just never go through with it. But once again, I'm to ask you, what is the worst case scenario if you fail? From what I'm assuming, depending on what you might be trying, most of the times you may feel a type of way, you may feel embarrassed, frustrated, angry, whatever the case is. But the next time you attempt it, if you decide to attempt it again, you can become better and better and better. You just never ever know. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video just to motivate people out there to, take that first step in something that you really wanted to do, something you really was thinking about. I've been thinking about this type of channel and this type of video for about like 2 months now. And here I am just deciding to go through with it and make it. And as I said earlier, I will become better. I will become proficient at both the cooking and maybe the channel as well. But once again, I want this to serve as a motivator that, trust me, just because I can do it definitely means that you guys can do it. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you haven't been pulled in by this, and definitely comment down below maybe some things that you have struggled with starting, or from your own experience when it comes to starting things, some tips and tricks that helped you. I generally want this channel to just be like more of a discussion of a lot of things that we can just in general help each other improve upon. I think there's just a lot of negativity in the world and amongst, you know, social media, and I don't want to necessarily add to that. I just want to throw some positive stuff, and if you decide not to take the advice, that's totally fine. And obviously I'm not going to take it personally. Maybe you just like to listen to this for air candy. That's totally fine. However, I am here to serve you. And remember what I said from the beginning of this video. Just do it. Take that first step. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let's have a discussion in the comments. Thank you once again for tapping in, and I'll try to upload more videos like these. I don't know what timely manner, but I appear whenever I appear. Appreciate y'all. Have a safe day out there and be good people. Peace.